What's up, everybody? Dr. Ray, otherwise known as Ramey here, and today we're talking about using Midjourney in instructional design or for e-learning development. For those of you that aren't familiar with what Midjourney is, because I'm going to talk about what it is and cost and some of the important things, and then talk about its use. Midjourney is an AI image developer. It's an AI image developer, and the big question is, can I use this in instructional design? Can I replace all the places that I get free images from? Can I stop using Canva or whatever it is I'm using to create stuff? Can I stop using Photoshop? All that good stuff. Can I stop pulling images off of Adobe or Articulator, wherever you're getting your images from? That's what we're going to talk about today. So Midjourney creates images for you. AI images. You type in a prompt, boom, it creates something. I'm going to show you how to do that. First, we're going to talk about Midjourney a little bit. And I want to start out with the subscription plans, and then let's talk about the terms of service, because those are two important things. All right, first thing, Midjourney subscription. So first of all, if you want to use Midjourney, you do have to pay for it. There was a beta mode you could subscribe to a while back, but now it's charged, so you do have to pay. And if you're not paying, you can't use their images anyway, so you have to pay. So first thing, we get to this thing which is called the basic plan, standard plan, pro plan, and mega plan. I want to talk about some key differences between these plans as you're trying to decide which you should buy. First thing, basic plan, just don't buy it. It sucks. Straight up, it's 10 bucks. It's the cheapest plan by a lot. Just don't even buy it. It's basically like, I'm going to try this out for a little bit and see if I like it, because you can only use it for 3.3 hours a month. That's it. So you pay 10 bucks, get 3 hours of use. That's it. That's just makes no sense. Like, it's just terrible. Like, the plan sucks. Just don't buy the basic plan. There are some other reasons why I don't like the basic plan too, but we'll talk about those when we go to standard and pro. Anyway, all right. Next thing, we got standard plan. Standard plan is not bad for what it does. It's $30 a month. Includes 15 hours of fast GPU time and unlimited relaxed GPU time, which means when you type, like, give it a prompt, it might just wait in queue for a while before your image is made. That's what relaxed time is. But as far as time-wise, this is pretty good. 15 hours, which basically means it does it right away, and then unlimited otherwise. So you got unlimited use of the tool, at least, for $30. There is a downfall of this plan, though, and that is something called stealth mode. I'm going to show you what stealth mode is when we get into the tool itself, when I show you Midjourney. But it's super important, which basically means if you're going to use this for fun and playing around, standard plan is fine. This is what I'm actually subscribed to because it's half the price of the pro plan, and I don't think for my personal use I need the pro plan yet. So I'm subscribed to standard plan. But stealth mode is a pretty important thing, and I'll talk about why that is. All right, so then we get the pro plan. So first of all, down here, if you're a company making more than $1 million in gross revenue per year, you have to have pro or mega plan to use the images. But, you know, as a consultant or e-learning developer, but if you're buying this for your company, you have to get pro. Pro is 60, mega is 120. These pro plan gets 30 hours of quick time a month. Mega gets 60, so that's good. Same unlimited here. You do get stealth mode for both of these. And as I said, I'll talk to you about what those are. And you get more jobs in queue than the standard plan. But the real advantage between pro, mega, and standard is stealth mode. But you see the prices. Like, if you're just a consultant, 60 a month, 120 a month, starts to get expensive. 30 a month sounds much better. 10 obviously sounds the best. As I said, basic plan sucks. Standard plan is okay, just doesn't have stealth mode. Okay, we'll get to all those and talk about it. Next thing I want to do is I want to really quickly talk about terms of service. Then I promise we're going to get into the tool and talk about it, and I'll tell you what that stealth mode is and why it's important. All right. So one of the big things that you need to think about when you're using one of these AI tools is use, and how can I use these professionally. So first of all, know that, and this is kind of weird, everything you create with Midjourney, rights you give to Midjourney when you create something, all your prompts, by using the services, you grant Midjourney non-exclusive, no charge, royalty-free copyright license to reproduce prepare derivative works of, publicly display, sublicense and distribute it, text and image props you input into the services or assets produced by the service at your direction. What does that mean? That means anything you create with this service, they can use it for stuff. Like, you can use it commercially as you get to your rights, but they can use it too. So like if you create something, like I'd be very hesitant. So right away, just reading that, I wouldn't like want to create my company logo with Midjourney. Things like that, you just wouldn't want to do because they could use it. Like the tool created it, they could come back and use it. Now, you own the images you create, so you can use it and you can use it commercially. But just know that they can use it. So like it would really stink to be like a company. Just imagine if like Nike created their Nike logo with Midjourney, and like imagine the legal issues that would come about between the agreement here and Nike Corporation. Like that's just like, this scares me a little bit. So I will say that I'm a little bit scared of the policy around AI in Midjourney and being able to use things. But you do have the right to use things commercially. So like as far as using this like internally for e-learning and stuff like that, like I wouldn't worry about this rights you're giving to Midjourney. It's completely fine. Like, yes, they can use the image. No, they're probably never going to. No, it's not going to be an issue because you're like using it internally and stuff like that. And it's not like a huge deal. But like for something like a company logo, something you want to trademark, that's where I probably would be very hesitant and would not use Midjourney at all for something like that because of this. All right. Okay. Now you can see they say if you have one of the Pro or Mega plans, they will make their best efforts not to publish assets where you've engaged in stealth mode. We're going to get to stealth mode. So, okay. So basically what they're saying is this rights you give Midjourney up here, if you create your thing in stealth mode, they're going to do their best. That's not a guarantee. They're just going to do their best not to use it. Okay. Let's get the stealth mode, talk about it, and mix back in with this, talk about its use. But let's get into the tool because I talked enough about this stuff. Let's get into the tool. Let me bring it up in here. All right, so to get Midjourney. So this is both good and bad. So the first thing you realize is you notice I pulled like another tool up on the screen. So this is kind of, I feel like this is strange. It's okay for me, but I think this is strange. So when you want to use Midjourney, and I'm in Midjourney right now, Midjourney is actually, see they're like just pulling pictures up on the screen. Midjourney is used in Discord. And I didn't create any of these images you're seeing up here, so I'm not responsible for any images you're seeing on the screen right now. These are what other people have created. So Midjourney is done in Discord. For those of you who aren't familiar with Discord, Discord is a tool people use to communicate. Similar to, I don't want to use examples, but it can like kind of be similar to Skype or Microsoft Teams or Slack. But that's not really what it is. Discord was designed for gamers to play video games together and has grown into a much bigger thing. I use Discord every day for all kinds of things. That's why you can see I have all these Discord channels that I'm subscribed to. If you do not use Discord, you all of a sudden, in addition to having to learn Midjourney, now have to learn a new tool called Discord. And you do have to learn how to use it because it can be a little confusing. As a Discord user, Discord in some ways is confusing. And when I first went into the Midjourney channel, I was like, what do I do here? How do I do this? It was a little confusing at first. I mean, it took me 15 minutes to figure it out. But it's for someone who doesn't use Discord, you got to download a new app. You got to, or install it on your computer. So that is in some ways a disadvantage for new people who aren't familiar with Discord. The cool thing about Discord is that I have it on my phone, tablet, and computer, and I can just, it's like I didn't need to download or install any new software on anything because I already had it. So for me, it's like I didn't need to do anything, but for you, you would have to. So just be aware of that, but it's in Discord. All right, so you get in here, And basically what it does is the whole community is here. Now here's what's weird about Midjourney. When I create something, what they do, you can see there's all these cool like channels here on the side, like, you know, announcements by the company, community updates, member supports. You can get your support right in Discord. I can ask people about different prompts I create, like for help and stuff like that. So that's all super cool. I love that. Actually really like that. Then you get into image creation. And what you do to create an image is you actually go to one of these channels. You like pick one, like General 2 or whatever. They tell you when you first sign up, like what channels they want you to go to. I'd click like General 8, and this is where I create my images. Now, you can see the problem with this is that there are how many people in General 8 channel? 32 people in this channel right now. So every image that's being created right now is someone else's. So clearly, using this professionally, I don't want my images showing up on like a general forum with other people to be able to be used. So that's very problematic, right? I don't really know why anyone would choose to do this by default, but this is kind of the default setting. Okay, you can get around that. So there's two ways around that. One is private mode, and the other is a stealth plan. So let's talk about that, because that's where I was talking about this stealth plan thing before. All right, so what you do is you actually go into your direct messages, and you find the Midjourney bot. You have to message the Midjourney bot. And I've been using Midjourney for a lot of different things, like tons of stuff. You can see like I have probably like 1,000 images here that I've been using with Midjourney. So you can see this discussion is just this month of the last 30 days. I'll probably start a new discussion tomorrow, I guess. And basically every time I do something, I tries to create something. So I was trying to create a map right here. But this means that I am having a private discussion with the Midjourney bot. So while this is private, a private discussion, and all the people on this Midjourney server are not seeing it, anyone who looks at my Midjourney profile will see these images online. These are everything I'm creating here is showing up 100% online. Everything. So that means it's not private. So what Midjourney has created in those Pro and Mega modes is something called Stealth Plan. And Stealth Plan basically is like this, using the Midjourney bot, but none of my stuff is shared. It's all stealth. It means it's not going to show up on my website. So basically, if you're using this for e-learning, let's go back. You really have no choice but to get the Pro plan, because you don't want stuff you're creating for a company to show up on the web, which is what Standard Plan does. So you're going to be spending $60 a month. So just be aware of that. This stealth mode is super important. All right. So that's kind of like the plan. Let's go to the actual piece of software. How do you use Midjourney? So basically what you do is you're going to type a message into Discord, like image prompt. And I'm going to type create an image of office workers dancing. Make it look like a painting. And it's going to be fast. It'll just take a second for it to create this, which is super cool. It takes quick, and it'll actually create an image of office workers painting. Now, right away, you think to yourself, dude, I'm canceling all my image subscription servers. This thing is awesome. I'm just going to type whenever I need an image for instructional design. Boom, I type it in, and Midjourney is going to create it. I never need to have another thing again. If it were only that simple. If it were only that simple. Because it is not. All right, so first of all, we created this image. I click it. That's actually pretty cool, right? Like we got image office workers dancing. They give us 4 different options here. And I can say like I like one or I don't like one. I can pick these. I can say like upscale. So U4 is to upscale this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. V4 means like I like V4. Let's click 1. But we're going to make some variations of version 4. So we're taking version 4 and we're going to make some variations. Now I can do a bunch of stuff with this. I can play with image form. Right now we're just making variations of image form. I can say just put image 4 on the screen, and I can make variations. I can add some certain kinds of prompts to this where I can say, I can talk about the size or what I'm using it for, or how much I want to. And let me actually pull up some Midjourney prompts. All right, so we go to our prompts, we pull this up, and you can see basically what you do is you type in imagine prompt text of what you want it to create, and that's what it does. You can see we created this variation of this one right here, 4 different variations of it. We can ask it to do different things, but we can make it a little more advanced. So first of all, I can put an image in, text, and some parameters. Images basically mean that, like if I put a picture of myself in and I said, make my face look a little different. And then I put the image in, put the text, and I could say, make my face a little different. I have these parameters. Parameters are things like aspect ratio. Chaos means like how varied the results will be. Image weight, quality, different things like that I can add. Basically like think style type stuff for the parameters. But that's basically the gist of using this piece of software. Just to show you what it looks like. Like let's say I want you for, so what they're gonna do right now is they're gonna give me just this version. They're not changing it. All right, so once I've created the image, I click on it. I can right click, copy link, and I can create a new prompt, image, change the people to aliens. You can see it has the image, change the people to aliens. We'll see what it does. But that's how you start to play around with an image. So kind of cool, right? You can create all this neat stuff. And it's fun to use. It's super quick. Now let's start to talk about some of the disadvantages. And maybe we'll get to that right when we see this picture that's coming up on the screen. Because what did I do? I put a picture in. All right, I put this picture in, and I said, change the people to aliens. The problem is, Midjourney doesn't understand what I want it to do. Change the people. What does change the people to aliens mean? It means these people should be aliens, but look at, oh, it's not done yet. Still, there we go. What did it do? It made the people and added aliens to the picture. Well, maybe I need to describe it more. So I could go in and add the picture again and re-describe it and try a different way to describe it. The problem is, as you get to a certain point and put too much information, it really confuses the system. So it's better to keep your prompt simple. It may take me a while to even get it somewhat close to what I'm really trying to get it to say. And therein starts to lie the problem for instructional design. So let's talk about advantages and disadvantages of this tool and idea. When do I think it could actually be used, and what do I think of the use of it? All right, so first of all, scrolling through, you can see I made like some cool images here of different things, like just playing around, like telling it, submitting here. I'm just showing you some examples. Like I put a picture of me and my wife and said, make us superheroes. And like, that's not my face. I really wanted to use my face. It was difficult. It like made up people kind of, even though I put like a picture of myself in, like just some strange stuff. Like this, it kept my face, but like got rid of my wife's face. Made my wife a kid in that picture, just made her a kid in that picture, just some weird things it does. You can see like our pictures here that I was using. This is like create an office worker, cartoon, like some cool stuff. So when do I think that this could be used? And I'll tell you like why I even have these pictures as I talk about that. So when do I think this could be used and not used? So first of all, I think that Midjourney is really cool to play around with in an abstract way. I think if you're trying to create some creative things for a piece of e-learning that you can get nowhere else, Midjourney is a potential option. I think if you're trying to be very specific, for those of you that have actually worked with clients before, there are some major issues with trying to use something like this professionally. First of all, clients get super picky. So let's say I've created this image. They like the guy standing here like this. And my client sees that and says, I'd rather the guy like be doing something different. You're going to say to yourself, oh my goodness, I have to put this back in the Midjourney and like make him do something different. That's not going to be easy. Because basically every time you run something through Midjourney, it's like you have a different new artist's interpretation of that image, which is pretty problematic. And for those of you that have worked with clients, know that the client may say, hey, let's take his hands out of his pocket. Hey, you know what? No, I don't like that. Let's have his hair like this. Let's change the color of his jacket. Let's do this. Let's do that. All my clients do stuff like that all the time. So trying to use something like Midjourney, where it's like every time I create a prompt and do something, it's like a whole new artist and a whole new interpretation of this guy doing it. Not like the same style, not necessarily the same anything. Midjourney may or may not actually do it. And that's problematic for e-learning. Where I think that Midjourney excels, I think for social media, it can create some really abstract stuff. So like these images right here, like I just wrote a book and had it published, and I was trying to create like some images for the beginning of each chapter. And these are totally not what I wanted. Like it just couldn't do it. This I actually liked and thought was pretty cool. I was trying to create a map here and it just like couldn't do it the way what I wanted. Like this like created a person. Turn a map into a color line drawing. And this is what it did. I uploaded this picture, told it to turn it into a map, and it gave me a picture of 3 people's faces. That's not usable. That's not fun to play around with when I am on a deadline and trying to figure out how to create an image. Some of these images that I created for my book, I can like use on social media, and I think that's where it excels. Like it can create some cool scenes, like the office worker. Like if I just need a quick image of some office workers, like it can do a cool job of like creating some stuff like that. I think it starts to become problematic when I need 50 office workers and they all kind of need to look the same. This is where I start to think like your old tools that are using are probably much, much better than Midjourney. I don't think you run into those kind of problems. I think trying to use this professionally for e-learning is very, very difficult. I think like 90% of the time, 99% of the time even, I'm probably going to use something else. For social media, like I still think Canva, even for like a lot of things, I think Canva's better. I think that all the image, like Adobe stock images and stuff that I use, I'm going to still be using them. I'm not going to be turning to Midjourney for it. I just don't think it's there yet. I don't think it's ready. It's cool. I see some use of it. I think I can use it for some things. I see lots of potential. But like, it's just not there. I think the terms of service are a little scary for some companies to get over. When their legal team reads that, I don't know they're going to like that. And I just think trying to create something really specific for clients can be a little challenging with Midjourney. So that may be problematic. So do I think you should run out and buy it? I think if you're doing a lot of e-learning development and there's images that the current software you're using just don't do well, Midjourney might be a pretty cool tool to play around with, and there might be some use cases for you. I think in general, I don't think it's worth the buy right now. I just don't. Like, it's not really something I'm going to be able to use a lot, and I just don't think the tech is there yet. Now, keep in mind, I'm doing this video review on 9/22/2023. Tomorrow, they could release this new cool feature that changes all what I'm talking about, and I'll be like, Midjourney's a tool, you got to have it. You got to use it for everything. So keep that in mind as you watch this. But like, I think for right now, I just don't think it's there yet for e-learning to replace everything. I think there's a use for it. I think there's a case for it. I can see times when this would have been beneficial throughout my career. But I also can think back and like 99% of the time, this is not the tool I would have selected to create my images. So that's like my final big thought on it. I also think if you're going to do it, you definitely need to Oh, and now I'm like off the paid part. I really think that you need to go to the paid version and buy the $60 thing. I really think that that is what you need to start with, the pro plan, if you're using this professionally. Standard plan maybe is okay for certain clients, but you really need stealth mode. Super important, and it's just you got to pay $60 a month for it for stealth mode. So, that's that. That's my final thought. I'd love to hear if you've like been using this, what you think. If you've played around with it and played around with it recently, because it keeps changing. And I did use the beta, and I feel like this version has a lot more stuff than the beta version did, so it's better. So I would totally uh, recommend you replay with it. And maybe if you want to purchase something, you can play with the basic plan. It gives you 3 hours a month. I honestly think that's probably enough to play around, like give you a couple hours to go in and mess around. Or just pay the $30 like I did. I thought I was going to be able to use this for my book, and it just didn't really work out. I had to use other software for everything I was trying to create. So yeah, it's just not really what I thought, as good as I thought it was going to be. And I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time in the beta, and then I've spent a lot of time in this new version, the paid version, on it. And it's just not necessarily the best tool for IDs just yet. Later, all.